Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone who is joining us. My name is Amy Kerr. I'm the Vice President of Recruiting here at WorldWide HealthStaff, and I am joined by Maria Wong, the Corporate Director of Workforce Development from National Healthcare. You can see Maria is currently in action. She's in her car on the road, already on her way to do all kinds of great things today. We appreciate her joining us to talk more about national healthcare. Today, there are folks who have joined us who are already hired at National Healthcare, and then some folks who have joined us to learn a little bit more about it. And so we're happy to have you. We would love to know where in the world that you are watching from. If you have not already told us, we'd love to see the different countries. And first today, I'd like to turn it over to Maria to talk a little bit about national healthcare.
Thank you, Amy, and good morning, everyone. Just like Amy said, I am in action. I'm actually in the car on the way to pick up one of our registered nurses that's coming here in Tennessee, and we're so excited about him being here. So in the meantime, I'd love to talk to you about NHC. So NHC has been in existence for more than 50 years. It's a senior care company, and we do serve geriatrics patients. And we have in most of our locations, let me back up. So when we first started 50 something years ago, NHC was really all about the skilled nursing. And basically our founder, Dr. Carl Adams, thought that there was a need on how care was going to be provided for the geriatrics. And so he really wanted to innovate the care so that it is focused truly on quality of life of the patients. And in fact, he is a firm believer that patients should be given an opportunity to go back to the community once they have been rehabilitated. So from that mindset, we were the first company in the skilled nursing field that actually have registered nurses. And we were also the first that actually have physical therapists. And I'm happy to say that I've been with NHC for 31 years, and I actually started as a foreign trained contract worker for NHC 31 years ago. And NHC has been good to me, and NHC has been good to my family. And I really connected to what NHC is all about, which is about the patient. And I have to say that NHC have morphed from focus on skilled nursing that serves post-acute care rehab and continuing care and outpatient to now we have assisted living and independent living. We also have behavioral health that we just started last year. We have pharmacy, we have rehabilitation, we provide hospice care. We have a company called Caris Hospice. And then we also have management services to some of the nursing homes, and also accounting and financial services. So from skilled nursing facilities, NHC have morphed into this comprehensive senior care company for the nation. And we are so very proud of it. And we just celebrated our 50 years in existence last year. So what does that mean to you? So you as a current that has accepted the offer from NHC, or you that have been thinking about joining NHC, you should feel great about joining a company that is all about care. And that's what NHC is all about, care. I have to say that over the last, I'd say 3 years, I know that United States have seen a change in the staffing needs, especially for nurses. And so what NHC has done is we have utilized WorldWide to help us get staffed in nursing. And so what that means is that we are committed to helping international trained nurses to come to the United States and help us take care of our patients. But at the same time, we, NHC, is committed to making that partner, because that's what we call our employees. We call each other partner. We're committed to that international nurse to become a partner of NHC, and committed to them from the perspective of helping them grow, not only in nursing, but also maybe in their career and future within NHC, and also in the community that they're going to be living. And I think that's what I've experienced with NHC. So, but what that does that mean to you is that we, NHC, are only looking for nurses that are also going to commit in loving our patients. What that means is that we need nurses that will commit to godly excellence by leading themselves exceptionally well in loving our patients. We need nurses that will commit to acting with compassion and integrity every single day they walk through our building when they're taking care and loving on our patients. We need nurses to commit on respecting and valuing each other, our partners, and also most especially our patients. And we also need nurses to commit to enhancing the quality of life of our patients. And we are doing this, we are giving opportunity, but we also really need the commitment of the nurses because it's hard work. Amy and I were talking a minute ago, and we know that skilled nursing is one of the most, I'd say, the most where you can really feel that you're making a difference because you're serving vulnerable individuals, individuals that are the ones that created America for how it is right now. Okay. So it allows you to give back. And then also it's hard work because these are individuals that are no longer able to function at home or in their community. And so they live in our facilities, or they may be coming from an acute care and they require rehabilitation in order for them to go back to the community that they live in. So it is hard work, but I have to say that any nurse that does well in our center could work anywhere in any setting, and they will be awesome because of the experience that they have with NHC. We've had so many nurses that and therapists that actually move out of our setting to go to the hospitals, and they always come back because they said how they feel like they made a difference and they were able to love the patients more when they were in our setting. But at the same time, they came back because they felt like their skills were challenged more at our setting than when they were at the hospital, even though the hospital is more post-acute. So we've had those comments before from previous partners that have left and came back to NHC. So one, we need the commitment. It is going to be hard work because of the setting. And plus, if you think about it, it is hard work because for you, international nurse, when you come to the United States, you're going to be transitioning not only in nursing, but you're also transitioning with in your community. So two things makes it already hard. So I hope you guys are preparing yourself, and I hope that you're getting ready and really ready for the challenge to take on of relocating here in the United States. Now, one of the big questions that are sometimes asked is, what type of patients are you seeing? So I already said it's geriatrics. So there's two types of patients that you'll see at NHC. One, the skilled care, and those are the patients that just came out of the hospital, are stable, and came for rehabilitation, or what we call post-acute care. And then the other type of patients are the ones we call the intermediate, or the ones that are continuing care. They're the ones that transition from post-acute care, and they are no longer able to go back to the community because there are no family members are willing to take care of them, or they are truly dependent in their ADLs, and that's the reason why they're staying at our center. So, in essence, I've talked too much, Amy. We want nurses that are committed and that will commit to loving our patients, and in return, you will have the commitment of NHC to take care of you from being a frontline all the way to as high of a career development or career ladder you want to be, because there's a lot of options within NHC. And I think I missed something that you just you can ask me later.
Yeah. So thanks, Maria. So that was really, really, really good information. And also to everyone who's attending, we are going to take questions from the group. So if you have questions, please make sure to put them in the chat or in the Q&A section, and we will take them later. And Maria, I don't know if you have had a chance to see the chat, but there are several people who mentioned like what location they're going to come work in, and Shahid just put in the chat that they're committed. So I think that's really great and super exciting. So that's fun. So again, please make sure to put your questions in the chat. And I think, so as at WorldWide, we work with a lot of different employers. And one of my favorite things about working with NHC is I think the passion that they have for their patients, which I think for lots and lots of really good nurses is important, and can be difficult to find organizations that are super patient focused, especially in the long-term care arena. And so I love that, but I also love that NHC is people focused, and the partners that work at NHC are super important to NHC as well, which makes it a really good place to have a long career like Maria has. So Maria, some of the questions that I think people often have are, tell us a little bit about what sort of career paths you can have within NHC. You mentioned that like at NHC, you can learn to be like if you can make it there, you'd be a nurse anywhere. But what if you stay? What if you want to stay there for 20 years? What sort of career paths can you have?
That's a great question. So we have so there's a lot of layers within NHC. So management layers, if you're looking at management. So you can have the management path, or you could go with the assessment path. So we have so in the clinical path, we have nurses that are basically wound care, falls nurse. We have care plan coordinators that really coordinates the care of the patient. And then we also have, from the management track, we have unit managers, we have admission coordinators, we have DONs, ADONs, directors of nurses, we have assistant director of nurses. Did I always say unit managers? And then so there's a lot of career path. And I have to say that NHC, I'd say that almost all of our directors of nurses, I'd say 95% of our director of nurses are in-house. And that means that they came in as a frontline nurses, and sometimes they even came in as a CNA, and then NHC paid for their tuition reimbursement in order for them to become RNs, and then they become directors of nurses or assistant directors of nurses. And then from the assistant director of nurses, they become directors of nurses. And then they become, we have one right now that's a regional nurse, and she started as a CNA. So, career path is there. It's really up to the individual of what they would want to be in the future. And that's why I always tell the nurses when they come to the United States is dream big. But the first thing is love on those patients first and learn about what it is to be in the front line, and then dream big and take the ladder. Whatever path you want to be, just let NHC know and we will help you get there.
One question that just came in while you were talking, Maria, was, can somebody study through the company while working to get registered with their nursing license? I think this would be somebody who's a nurse aide who wanted to study and to take their NCLEX. Are there resources through NHC for those folks?
Yes. And so one of the things is that NHC could do is help you go to a review center. NHC also works with universities in the area. So for example, we have what we call TFGE. And what happens is that we partners with colleges and universities with RN programs. And so with this push for our NAs that are taking their NCLEX, we will be pushing with our universities to help us get them reviewed when they're also reviewing their students when they're taking their NCLEX.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think someone else is asking about, if they come over as an NA, are there going to be positions for nurse aides to become RNs once they pass the NCLEX?
Yes. So we're getting ready for you to become RNs. We want you to be RNs. It's funny is that years ago we had this dream of having changing some of our patient care system so that we have more RNs, and then it kind of dried up a little bit. But so yeah, we have more than enough positions for all NAs to become RNs. And you have to think about it too, that NHC has a lot of arms, and that's the reason why I showed this slide, because you can be an RN in assisted living, independent living. You could be an RN in our hospice. You could be RNs in our home care. You could be RNs in some of our rehabilitation centers. And also our newest venture that opened up last year is our behavioral health. So not just in the skilled nursing, but there's other opportunities for you to become an RN.
Awesome. And we also have with us today Kimberly Cole, who is our Director of Case Management for Nurse Aides and other fun U.S. visas. We have had some questions that have come through about the Department of Labor process. And maybe Kim, before I ask you this, let me just preface this by saying, I think one of the frustrating things about the immigration process for all of us is that we have to depend on some of these government agencies. And as the demand for international talent in healthcare, but also in lots of other fields, it has really increased post-pandemic. We've seen processing times go from several weeks to months and months, and I think that's frustrating for all of us. Nobody wants you here faster to start work than NHC, and they're super excited about that. But we also know that each one of you who's been hired and begun this journey have hopes and dreams and family members and we wish to make that happen as quickly as possible for you. So we are all aligned on the fact that we want that to happen very quickly. And for any delays that take place, we take those very seriously. And we work collectively, Worldwide and NHC, to solve the issues as quickly as possible. So just have confidence that we all want you here as quickly as possible, and it's important to us, and certainly important to NHC. And they've spent a lot of time and resources committed to this venture, and so they can't wait. They can't wait for everyone to be here. So I think, Kim, maybe there's lots of sort of individual questions about some of the I think the Department of Labor ETA filings, and maybe one more thing I'll say, and then I'll really ask you a question, Kim, is that if you have an individual question about your particular case, the best resource is your case manager. We can talk about this in generalities. So I think there are some questions about, I think like ETAs being denied and refiling, and how confident are we that like they're going to get approved? Could they be denied again? Could you just talk about that process, Kim?
Sure. I just want to just start it off before I start talking about that and reiterate what Amy said. NHC and Worldwide, we are committed to getting you here. I know that a lot of people are concerned about the denials and, their dreams, but, we are going to get you here. This is a slight delay, but we are committed to getting you here. We have, I feel like everybody on the NHC team, on our team, working to get these ETAs refiled. The Department of Labor, like Amy was saying, due to COVID especially, a lot of the delays came from the government. They've slowed down on their processing time, so it is taking, unfortunately, longer than we expected for them to review cases, review those petitions in order to move forward. We are human as well. There are hundreds of you that we are trying to get through the process as quickly as we can. We try to catch everything. Unfortunately, sometimes things slip through, but we are working to fix it, to get these moving along as quickly as we can. We have had hundreds of ETAs already refiled. We have more getting refiled this month. We're getting more refiled in March. So we are working to get that. If you, like Amy said, if you have individual questions about your case, please reach out to your case manager. They will be able to have some more information specifically about your case. There, even though you may not see movement going on, there is a lot of things happening behind the scenes. The attorney has to gather information and documentation from NHC, from the government, from you before they can even file. So if there's a delay on any of those things, fortunately, there is a delay on filing, but everybody is working on this to get them through, get them filed, and get you here as quickly as we can.
Thanks, Kim. I think there was another question about timing. So right now, maybe can you talk about the timing of the whole process, but also how long is it taking for the Department of Labor to approve ETAs?
Yeah, timelines are estimations. We are dealing with the government. They are their own entity. They, change their processing timelines constantly. Right now, we're seeing approximately 7 to 9 months to hear back from the Department of Labor. Unfortunately, there's no way to speed it up, and we just have to continue to wait. But you're not alone in that waiting. You have your case manager with you. They're there to support you, be there for you throughout this whole wait. But utilize this time while you're waiting. If you haven't started studying for your NCLEX, study for that. Save money. Work on gathering your hands-on experience so that you're better prepared for when you arrive. We hope to get you here once we get through the DOL, in about 18 to 24 months is our approximation. But like I said, timelines are estimations, they're approximations. We are dealing with the government. So, that can cause delays if they decide to slow down, or maybe they speed up, which is always our hope. But we are going to get you here as soon as we can. Just continue to be patient with us, be patient with yourself, be patient with the process. We will get you here. We are committed to it. NHC is committed to it. There's been a lot of time and energy on this, and we will get you here. Just please continue to be patient, but utilize this time to be prepared. Like I said, save money, study for your NCLEX, work on gathering your experience.
Hey, Kim, can I add to that?
Mm-hmm.
So on behalf of NHC, to you, giving you the opportunity, and also for you to get here in the States so you can love on our patients. And so with the refiling, we work with WorldWide in order to make sure, like Amy have said earlier, and also Kim, that we've worked to make sure that the refiling that we've done will go through, because we want you here, we need you here, and most importantly, we are committed to you. So I hope you have heard what Kim said, and that is that be patient and continue to commit. And I want to say on the other side, Kim mentioned about saving money and also get ready. I have to say that one of the learnings that we have is that nurses, international nurses that are not successful when they come to the United States, or maybe shouldn't say not successful, but are struggling, are those nurses that do not have any bedside experience in the last couple of years. And I have to say that that's one of the reasons that they are struggling, is because NHC is going to train you to how to do your job, but NHC will not train you on how to be a bedside nurse. That has to be, you have to be coming to the United States with already having that knowledge of how to be a bedside nurse. We will enhance your knowledge so you know what our expectations are, and you will know the procedures based on the process here in the United States. But that bedside nurse, that caring, that's in you, and that's why you became a nurse. So you need to have that training. You need to refresh your course while you're in your country so that you can be the best loving nurse that we have in NHC. Can I say that, Amy? Can you please?
You're muted, Amy.
Thanks, Kim. Let me just take a second to talk about qualifying for an interview with NHC. So we are currently interviewing for NHC to hire NCLEX passing RNs. So there's lots of you here that haven't yet taken the NCLEX and have been hired for the nurse aid to RN program. But what we are really looking to hire right now for NHC additional applicants is NCLEX passing RN nurses. And there was a question about, do you have to have current bedside experience to apply? And I think, that's a really good question and a conversation to have with a recruiter about your past experience. But I think really, really important to know that it is a requirement of this partnership between WorldWide and NHC that if you do get hired by NHC, you agree to immediately go back to bedside. And if for any reason you're not working in bedside right now, you would agree to go back in bedside and work in bedside the entire time that you're in the immigration process to make sure that your skills are ready. And I think as a show of commitment to NHC for your preparation to come and be a really great nurse. And I think our recommendation would be to go back and to work in a med-surg floor or somewhere where you're taking care of adults, just to make sure that you build all of your skills. And I think that's really important. Just to know, I think like Maria mentioned, that's an expectation, but it's also a requirement and something that our case management team will ask you about regularly if you get into the immigration process. Okay, so I think there's one other question about that maybe that I'll take about, do you accept Indian candidates? And I think the answer is we accept Indian candidates. The issue is USCIS is processing applicants for Indian nationals from 2012, I believe. And so at this time, the processing time is so long that we're unable to assist Indian candidates without a previous priority date of 2012 or before. As soon as USCIS gets to be in a better place, we're happy to take all of the candidates once they catch up with processing Indian nationals. And then there was another question that I saw about, where is NHC located? Maria, can you talk about where NHC has locations?
Yes. So NHC has locations in Alabama, in Missouri, Tennessee, and South Carolina.
Awesome. Great places in the southern part of the US. All places where you have seasons, like you have lots of different seasons. So, and all, well, not Kim anymore, but Maria and I both live in the southern part of the U.S. And so I think we would both say it's one of the best places or parts of the U.S. to live in.
I agree. Take me anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm not going to leave the South.
Yeah.
Also, somebody had mentioned, like, what happens, and maybe Kim, this is for you, what happens if you're during the nurse aid process, you pass your NCLEX exam? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. The first question that we'll, or I guess not question, but the first thing that we look at, if you come to your case manager and say, I've passed the NCLEX, we're going to say congratulations, because that is a big step to do. That's a great step to becoming an RN in the U.S. And then we'll look at, where are you at in the immigration process? If you are prior to your I-140 being filed to the USCIS, then we will work with our recruiting team to get you switched over to an RN position and get you through the RN immigration process. Now, if it is after your I-140 has been filed, we would like to keep you in the nurse aid process so that we don't have to start you all over again. We don't want to have to restart your process. I know you don't want to have to restart your process. So we will continue to process you through the nurse aid process. But once you come to the U.S., we will work with your employer, in this case, NHC, let them know that you have passed the NCLEX, and then they will work to find you a nursing position. We do ask that, they start you, though, as a nurse aide, because that is what you're supposed to be immigrating as, for at least 120 days, but it's up to the discretion of NHC. If they have a position available and you want to apply to be an RN, then, they can interview you and take it from there.
Thank you, Kim. One of the questions, and really one of my favorite things about of NHC, is the transition to the U.S. And I think there were some questions about what is the support that happens and what happens when you get to the U.S. Maria, can you talk about what it's like for an international candidate or applicant to arrive in the U.S. and at NHC?
Love to. So basically, we work with WorldWide to make sure that we know ahead of time when you're arriving, and then the facility team, the facility leadership team, basically led by the administrator, will start working with you and me on finding you apartments, permanent residence that you could live in for at least a year. Our relocation commitment is that when we will give you support and finding you permanent residency, so not just a hotel, that you could stay in, and we will pay for your first month's rent. And obviously we'll start with, when you get here in the United States, somebody will pick you up at the airport. We help you get a cell phone, U.S. cell phone. with your current cell phone, we change the SIM card, we take you there, and you basically process that with that carrier, and then we also help you get your bank account, open your bank account, so that you'll be able to avail to the direct deposit when you get hired on with NHC, when you start getting paid with NHC. And then we usually take you to your apartment, and what else? We take care of you.
Yeah. I think, part of having Maria as the person in charge of this program at NHC is that she's been on this journey and she knows what it feels like. And, I think NHC cares so much about their partners anyway, but I think having somebody who's walked in these shoes means that there's a lot of thoughtfulness and just general caring and empathy for what it's like to arrive in the U.S. And so I think, Maria and NHC, they give you as many resources as possible. Now, I think for each person who's arriving and has been hired by NHC, I think like we've talked about a lot today, there's an expectation that you're a professional and that you've done preparation ahead of time to be successful. But this is a really great supportive place to land and a fantastic place to start a new life in the U.S.
I completely agree. And I think, and again, it goes back also, it depends. So we've had some instances wherein we have I do want to say this. If you, the nurse, will take on the relocation by yourself, and because you have relatives here in the United States, and you just tell us, hey, I'm going to be there on this day, then we wait for you to ask us what kind of support. But for the most part, all of our nurses that we've worked with worldwide, they really, the ones that have been here would ask us for support, and we pick them up at the airport, basically. Right, Amy? I just want to say that because we did have one instance wherein, they got themselves there. So, but that was their choice.
Right. And I think good communication with us as we work together to support you is always super important. Okay, so we're almost out of time today. I see there are some other questions that are coming in that are very very specific, and those are all really, really good questions for your case manager. And I, as we mentioned before, please have patience with us as we're working through the immigration process with the Department of Labor, and just know that we are really working hard to get everything filed as quickly as possible, because we all want you to be here very, very quickly, as fast as you can. But for any individual questions, please make sure you contact your case manager. If you are interested in working at NHC and you have passed your NCLEX, please feel free to apply on our website. We would love to have a recruiter talk to you, or you can chat live with a recruiter right now. The link is in the chat. Also, if you're someone who's already going to come work at NHC and you want to refer your friends or family members, we have a program to pay for NCLEX passing RN referrals, and we would love to pay you to have your friends come and build your own support system and work at NHC. So please make sure to check out those links on our website. Amy,
I have to say, there was a comment about Georgia. Yes, I forgot. In fact, I'm going to Georgia. We have 2 facilities in Georgia. Sorry about that. I forgot about it.
They were wondering what was happening. Yeah.
Yes. In fact, I'm going to Georgia right now to pick up to take somebody. So anyway, sorry about that.
Thanks, Maria. Okay, so lastly, Maria, so we've talked a lot about NHC. We've talked about the commitment both ways, and really what a great place it is to start working in the U.S. What are the final thoughts that you'd like to leave with everybody who's attended this webinar today?
final. I think the word commitment, and we don't take that lightly. So we want you to know that NHC, once we make an offer and once we signed you up, we commit to you. Okay. We commit to you to getting here in the United States, and we commit to you while you're a partner for NHC. All we ask is also for you to commit to loving our patients and following our values. And if you work already for NHC, you made the right choice of choosing NHC, and committing to NHC and committing to loving our patients. And I think I say that too much because that's what's important. That's why we're doing this. It's because of our patients. And I think that if you have not, and if you're just listening in, trying to see if you want to join NHC, call me or email me, and I will be glad to talk to you about why NHC is the senior care leader in customer and investor satisfaction throughout in the long-term space, because I think that NHC basically leads in the senior care space right now. So and we're also the strongest in the long-term care space. So just give me a call. I don't know if that meet your needs, Amy, but that's
good. That's great. Thank you, Maria, for your time. And Kim, we appreciate y'all joining us, and we appreciate every single one of you who has attended with us this morning in the U.S. and this evening in other places around the world. I hope everyone has a good day or a good evening.